Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, Jerry Goebel and State Farm Insurance, Richmond, Express Roofing, we've got you covered, expressroofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank in Richmond and Berea, Luxury Pet Services in Richmond, Time Warner Cable, Equipment Sales and Rentals, Madison County Schools, Tatum Enterprises, and Real Life Community Church, myrealchurch.org.
Welcome to the Coach Center Show. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television. We want you to watch the Coach Mark Center Show.
We look forward to seeing you on Madison County School Sports Television.
It's the Mark Center Show from the Jack Burford Chevrolet Studios in Richmond, Kentucky. Now with your host, Samantha Burford.
Welcome back to the Coach Mark Center Show. I'm Samantha Burford. We're here at Jack Burford Chevrolet, and we're celebrating a big opening win, Coach.
Yeah, great to be celebrating a win. Really nice to get out of the gate well. And of course, we're well underway in preparation for the next one now. So
yeah, we'll talk about Dunbar a little later, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Big win. What, 34-20, right?
Yes, ma'am. 34.
All right, against Wayne County in the Roy Kidd Bowl. So last time we talked, you were preparing for a very big day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was.
Yeah, it was huge. From start to finish, it was huge. Really, really pleased with everything. Everything went really well. Hopefully the fans and folks enjoyed the day. We had great competition in the three middle school games, and things went very well there. And then the night took off very, very quickly. It honestly seems kind of like a blur now. And I know for all of our parents and our boosters and my wife and everybody who worked from about 8 a.m. until 11:30 or 12.
Yes.
It was a long day, but so far a very successful day, and of course just so happy to be able to get the win against a real strong Wayne County team.
Really strong, and they came out strong. It was they scored on their first two possessions, right? And you guys came right back at them. So it was, it was like, holy moly, let's do this.
Yeah, it was back and forth there for a while, and I kept telling people, this is a good team. This is a good football team, and some folks really weren't familiar with Wayne County's program and didn't know exactly how they had improved and then built their program over the course of the last few years, and other folks that are a little bit more familiar, kind of knew what was coming, and it's good for our kids. A different opponent for our kids, somebody that they haven't seen a lot at all. Being the third meeting in our program's history, and talking with Coach Thompson, he knew that they knew what kind of team they were going to bring, and that they were going to be strong, and physically up front, their front 5 or 6 guys they play a couple of tight ends a lot, and really physically strong football team, a very physical football team. A tough first test, I felt like, because when you play against a team that plays that style, you have to prepare in a special way for that style. And a lot of teams now, the game is just so much more wide open, a lot of spread, and a lot of teams throw the ball a lot and things like that. Not unlike what we're going to face this week with at least what Dunbar has shown so far. So you really got to bring it every time. You got to play with some physicality and play with some intensity.
That's
going
right.
against that wishbone and running the football the way they do. So pleased that we passed the first test, and now it's on to the next one.
Right. Well, and as we talked in your last show, not everybody may know that this was your big fundraiser for the year.
Absolutely.
You guys did concessions. I mean, it was a full day of nonstop. You needed lots of parent volunteers, lots of work to this day.
It was incredible, and so many people, helped out with, like you mentioned, concessions all day. And we had 4 parents, dads that volunteered to be liaisons for the teams that were involved, the visiting teams, to help them throughout the day, and the ticket workers and all of those things. It's a huge undertaking. It really is, and especially doing everything in one day with the middle school games and all in one day, and there were some blips in the road, but that's the important thing with it being a fundraiser. I know we set the price at $10 for 5 games all day, and certainly some people were asking, well, what if you just want to see one game in the middle school
Right.
games?
And you
things
were a
like
little
that.
worried about that, but
Yeah.
prepared everyone.
Right, and we understand that.
Right.
That certainly, I understand that $10 is expensive, but any way you look at it, $10 isn't bad for an all-day pass. And,
Right.
and
Morning to evening.
Right. A lot of folks are familiar with travel ball and tournaments and things like that, and those are $10 and $12 and $15 passes for the weekend and things. And it's just again, the thing that I hope folks understood is that it is a major fundraiser for us, and quite frankly, last year we went in the hole on the bowl game, and so we were very focused. Our boosters were very focused on making sure that the bowl did in fact raise funds for us and make money for us to help feed the kids and buy the practice packs and all those various things that it takes to run our program on a day-to-day basis during the season. And there were some blips in the screen, but overall just a fantastic day, and hopefully we'll keep on improving it, and next year's will be even better.
It will. You said you've already got a locked-in sponsor for next year, right?
We do, yeah, and we kind of went ahead and bumped them on in because they came through. B-Dubs came through big time for us, and they actually provided post-game meals for all 4 teams, which was incredible.
That's a lot of food.
That's a lot of food for a lot of guys, and they did just an amazing job in providing the food for that, and they've done some other things sponsorship-wise, and they got together with Coach Fritz and got them a sign down there in the end zone, and
Oh, that's good.
And they've committed to a monetary donation as well throughout that will begin actually next year and really go towards next year's bowl. But certainly a huge part of this year's bowl as well. So we went ahead and kind of went with the title sponsorship. Meyer also came in huge for us. They were our primary shirt sponsor, and came on board with that, and was able to take care of the shirts. And of course, Meyer has been such a good friend of the program for so long. That Bill Thompson down there, just we can't say enough about their support and coming on, and then Eagle Finance, Matt Merriweather over here at Eagle Finance has come on board as a main bowl sponsor, and they were an associate sponsor and gave out some footballs and are helping us with a monetary donation as well. So all of those type of things are really helping us cost. And kind of the way the bowl works is we offer a stipend to the teams to get them to commit to come, because of course they're presumably giving up a home game, on a 2-year contract, and so we have to do those bowl payouts, and we have to pay officials for the day, and just the basic costs that come with running a full day of football and feeding everybody and making sure everything's taken care of. So it's a great amount of investment, but it also has a great opportunity to be a heck of a money maker, and we feel pretty good that this year is definitely gone a long way towards getting it where we want it to be.
Your thoughts on the middle school games?
I love
Share that, because you love having those young men on the field.
Well, it was so good, and they get a couple opportunities a year to play on the big field, but I absolutely loved having the teams in, and just very proud of our teams and the way that they conducted themselves, and they played hard, and some tough matchups. The Clark Morris Wayne County matchup, a really tough matchup of teams that will probably be well into the middle school playoffs by the end of the season. It could even meet again, I guess, in the middle school playoffs. And the Bryan Station brought a very athletic middle school team in, 8th grade team in, and had a good matchup there in midday with Madison. And then at the end of the day, Knox Central, we saw them getting off the bus, said, goodness gracious, is that their high school? I mean, they were huge. And
big old boys.
It was seriously, you take Omer off our line, and their front line was as big as our front line, as the varsity. So they brought a really, really nice middle school team up, and that was the only game that really got out of hand, but our guys competed well, and that made me so happy and so proud to see those guys. All of our middle school kids, they competed all day. They fought till the end of every game, and just really represented our feeder programs well.
Yeah.
And we're gonna. I've been talking with Coach Trent from Cottle and Coach Manuel from Madison and Coach Brock over at Clark Moore's, and we're gonna work something out to have them on as guests during the season, and we're going to get a date for them to come in and do a little spot, because it's very important to us. I feel like we've got the ability with the men in place, and I emailed them this the other night, and I won't share a lot of the personal details about the email, but the bottom line of the message, we feel like that with the coaches that we've got in place at the middle school level and the things that are doing and the players that are coming through the programs, we need to build the best feeder program in the state in order to get to where we want to get and compete for championships on the high school level. And it's an enormous part of our feeder program and the overall process of what we're trying to get done.
Right.
And just proud of those guys, because I know we're teaching character and we're teaching good academics and we're teaching hard work at the middle school level, and it's going to carry right on up.
Well, and to add to this, other coaches in our county, all sports, have said, we'd like to teach the middle schoolers some of our fundamental plays early on while they're in middle school, so that by the time they get to high school. Do you find that to be a challenge, or are you helping add to that program?
Well, and it's a slow process of getting that done, but it is coming on board. We invite the guys out. We want them to be a part of our spring practice and come and observe us teaching our drills, doing our thing, and implementing our schemes and things like that. And of course, we're open to try to have them up during the summer, and I'm planning on doing some more of that with them, and it's just a matter of coordinating things. But we definitely want to implement the basics of our program, and it's coming. It's coming, and I don't want to micromanage those guys, because they know their kids. They see their kids in practice every day, and there's no reason why I should be telling them what to call on 4th and 1.
No.
But there's absolutely benefits to the models out there. You look at the successful programs. You look at the Highlands and Scott counties and the St. X and Trinities of Louisville and Boyle and others. And their systems are implemented early, even into
they're
the
learning
youth
those
league.
high school. Yes.
And so they have a base knowledge of what's going on as they're coming up, and some of the terminology, most of the terminology is the same. And those type of things getting implemented really goes a long way. And I feel like what we do, both sides of football, offensive and defensively, are systems that are flexible enough that you can take the principles and mold it to what works best for you.
Right.
So just really appreciative of those guys and the job that they're doing, because let's be honest now, coaching middle school football isn't exactly
it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a tough age group to work with.
Yes.
There's most certainly not a lot of money involved. Those guys are coaching because they love to coach, and they love to see kids get better.
That's it.
And so
that's all middle school
appreciate
athletics,
that.
truly.
Absolutely.
Not just football.
Athletics in general and school sports, a lot of the time, it really is.
They're not getting paid a lot, and they do a lot with parents, and they do a lot with, you hate to call it mouthy teenagers, but gosh, middle school is hard,
It is. It is.
They may get a bad grade, don't get to play, parents get upset, at the teachers ain't at the student, and it's just, there's a lot of difficulties in middle school in there.
There's a lot involved. There's a lot involved at every level, but certainly in middle school, it's such a transitional time for boys, and all of those things go into it, as well. But I feel like for the most part, our guys handle it very well,
and we're moving in the right direction.
That's the main thing. Keep pushing forward, keep moving in the right direction, and keep building little by little. And it will all get to where it needs to be.
Well, we do want to remind everybody, Madison County School Sports Television was there, so we filmed all the middle school games. So just go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube page, and watch your children.
Absolutely.
How fantastic is that? Because you can watch it for fun, you can send it to grandparents, or you can watch it to review a play and go, you know what, I could have done this better, or next time we should do this.
Absolutely.
What a better way to start.
Neat thing, special for the kids. I know, a lot of the younger kids that I talked to were really excited about that opportunity. So, that doesn't come around often for them.
That's
so
right.
It's a neat thing for them.
That's right. All right, let's move into the juicy stuff. You had a lot of men that did some fantastic things Saturday night.
Yeah, we really did.
Who do you even start with?
It was a team effort, no question, and we had a lot of different guys play. Probably I think the most important thing, a lot of people made plays, a lot of people did things great, but a lot of people played, and that was due to various reasons. We had some guys as the game went on that were suffering from some cramping issues. We had guys moving around, and we got a lot of people on the field, and a lot of people stepped up and played well and made plays in key times, and I do think that contributed a lot to us being able to come out on top. There were some tough times in the game. We faced some adversity during the game and came out stronger for it. And a lot of guys, perhaps even a few guys who weren't sure how much they were going to play going in, ended up playing a lot of minutes. And defensively in particular, played a lot of guys across the front line.
Did you change your defense, speaking of that, right after they'd scored that second touchdown early on?
Well, I wouldn't say changed our defense so much as just kind of got into a different defensive package. We went with more of a goal line package as opposed to our base 3-5. We went to more of a goal line type look, which it loads the line of scrimmage a little bit more, which is exactly what we needed to do with them going a lot of double tight end and a lot of wishbone type sets. That's a run first formation, and quite honestly, some of the pass plays that got loose in the first half were that they. Got to give them a ton of credit. I think there were something like 10 of 17 on third down conversions, and several of those were big first half passes to where we were so committed to the run, as we needed to be, that they were able to leak out and get someone open. So we kind of had to fix some of that stuff at half and make sure our reads were right. And
it worked.
And we were doing the things. And in the second half, things tightened up a lot. They did get one score, but came up with some really, really big stops as the game went on. And then one of our team goals for defense is a shutout in the fourth quarter, and we were able to shut them out in the fourth quarter, which obviously was huge in the grand scheme of things, because that allowed us to pull away for the win.
Right. So, all right, going back, you got to give some shout outs. Of course, it's the Coach Roy Kidd Bowl. So we got to give a big shout out to your MVP, and I'll let you do that.
Yeah, Cody had a big game, and he's due a big game.
Yes, love is hard. He's not had the best luck in injuries, has he?
You talk about a kid facing adversity. He's faced it over the course of his career, and has certainly come out on the other side stronger, and getting a chance now to kind of showcase what he can do. He has great speed, he has great field vision, and really does some things exceptionally well on both sides of the ball. He's our starting free safety, but he's also one of our key guys that rotates in at wide receiver. And while his offensive plays, Zach hit him on a fade there in the first half for a big touchdown, which was a huge one, because it allowed us to strike right back after a long drive that Wayne County had ended up sticking in the end zone. It allowed us to quick strike and get right back even with them. And then the play that iced it for us there at the end with the 86-yard screen pass, and that's where he's at his best. He's a really talented return man in the punt return game in particular, and kickoff return as well if need be. But that screen game kind of turns an offensive play into a punt return for him, and it allows guys to get out in front of him and block, and he can use his field vision. And when he sees a crack, he's got the speed to take it.
Well, earlier in the evening, we were discussing what his official position was, because it seems like he's
everything.
Yeah. I was like, what is his official position?
Yeah, he's a utility guy. He's starting free safety and wide receiver, but we reserve the right to move him around a little bit
wherever you need him.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, his grandfather and of course his parents had to be very proud, and grandmother, the whole family, the whole Kidd family. So.
Well, it had to be a special moment for him, and that's the nice thing about it, because you know, everyone appreciates hard work, and nobody can watch Cody go through the way he goes about not only just not the game but practice and weightlifting and off-season conditioning, things like that. You know, he really puts in a great amount of time and work, as all of our guys do. But you know, in sprints, he's not a guy that you have to kind of encourage to go full speed. He's going full speed, and in the weight room, you don't really have to encourage him to give great effort on his sets, because he's giving great effort on his sets, and which is why he's been able to overcome some adversity, you know, throughout his career with the injuries. And
collarbone, right?
He had two collarbones his sophomore year, and then had the deep bone bruise last year for a great deal of the season. So yeah, it's been a lot. He's due, and I hope he's due for about 14 more games worth of that. That would be great.
You're absolutely right. So we got to give a shout out to your kicker. I mean, how fantastic.
Landon had a good night. He had a really good night on kickoffs and extra points. And you know, late in the game, we had to call on a sophomore, Armando Archimorano, to come in and hold. And then those guys had 0 reps with each other that I can remember.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Very, very few reps, if any, because you know, with you know, Jared Grant is our typical holder, and he was out on the sideline with cramps and couldn't get back in. And then, of course, we lost Hunter in the scrimmage against Pulaski County, which had been our number 2 guy. And so, you know, we had to call on Armand to come in, and that's what we tell our guys, all of them, regardless of whether they're sophomore, junior, or senior. You know, if you've got a job to do and you have to be good at it, and you have to be ready to go. And so, you know, Armand made a real nice catch on the snap. The ball just tilted a little bit, but we'll get those things fixed, and everything will be great. But, you know, Landon, his kickoffs were very good, had good height and depth, and the extra point game went well. And we converted, I guess, Corian converted one on the muddle, and then I was pretty adamant that I thought he converted on the other one too. The refs didn't see it the same way I did.
They didn't think the same thing.
But that's okay. You know, that happens, and
he had a big game.
And so he had a great game. He had a rushing touchdown. Johan had a rushing touchdown early on, which was big. Jabari was able to come through with a rushing touchdown.
Who had the interception right before half?
Johan had a huge interception that stopped a drive, and then Blake Gross had a huge interception. I guess Blake's was in the end zone that stopped a drive, and Kenton Edwards had one that was actually on a 4th down play that was a really nice play as well. So we just and those are again kind of things that I've alluded to. You know, we were so committed to stopping the run early that you know, they leaked out some routes, but we were able to kind of get that, and those guys have a real nose for the football, and was able to make some really key interceptions, and that was huge, getting those stops. How
do you feel your quarterback did? How did Harden do?
Very well. I feel like he managed the game very well. He did exactly what we asked him to do. He didn't try to do too much, but he certainly didn't do too little. You know, we know what kind of arm he's got, and the ball to Cody down the seam was spot on. You know, and honestly, he got rushed on one that would have been another touchdown. The route to John was open over top, and just as Zach pulled back to let it go, the DN kind of clipped him where our tackle got pressed a little bit too far into him. So, you know, and I really felt that was an incomplete pass as opposed to a fumble. But you know, again, that's just kind of how it goes. You know, it is what it is. But and then the center quarterback exchange, you know, that was a tough one there. But you know, outside of those things, you know, and tough on a quarterback in particular, because you know, we only ran 27 plays for the game. I believe it was 27. I can check here in a minute. I think it was like 81. They had 81 plays to our 27.
I was going to say, they ran a lot more than you.
And the time of possession was dramatically in their favor. And, of course, that was Coach Thompson's game plan to a T. It was absolutely, he wanted to come in and control the clock and not make mistakes, and they did that. You know, in the scrimmage they had a little bit of trouble fumbling the ball, and they did not do that. They managed the football well. They controlled the clock and controlled for a lot of the first half, controlled the line of scrimmage, and so, you know, that a very good game plan. And thankfully we were able to quick strike and you know, get in space and make some plays, and that's, you know, that's really when you score 34 points on 27 plays, that's been a good night. And going back to Zach, I think he was 6 of 9 for 223 and the 2 touchdowns, and a really good night, and making really good decisions with the football. So we're very pleased with that.
So overall, for an opening game, your thoughts on that? Well prepared, I would think.
Well, yeah, having plenty of time to prepare certainly helped, and all of those things went well. I believe, I've said this to other folks. I hope that, and I believe that Wayne County is as good as I think they are. I think they're an awfully good 4A football team, and they've got a tough schedule coming up. I think they play Bell County at Bell and some other tough games on the road, so it'd be really neat to follow them and see how they go. But again, when you just look at our game for what it's worth singularly, the matchup was good. It was a very physical matchup like we wanted. I think that will help prepare us for later in the year, which is exactly what we want our regular season schedule to do, is prepare for playoffs. I think that we answered some questions. Certainly some other questions came up, but that's again the nature of early season games as well.
Right.
But I do the one of the big questions was, how was our team going to respond when things got tight, and they had to face adversity, and I think we answered that with a resounding yes. And I also think that we learned some guys that can really get tough and get tight when needed, and so that's a big thing as well. And again, we've talked about it before. We have a wonderful problem to have throughout our program. We've got a lot of guys that can make plays.
See, I was getting ready to ask you that. You have a lot of depth this year. That's what I was going to comment on.
We've got a lot of guys that can make plays on both sides of the ball, and that's what we want to do. From a philosophy standpoint, particularly offensively, we tell the kids, you're not going to see the ball a bunch, so when you see it, you better do something with it. And they're buying into that philosophy and blocking for each other. And then when they get their opportunity, they're making plays.
All right. Anything else on this bowl game before we take a break and talk about next week's game? It's this week's game.
It's here. Just one last thank you to everyone who helped and was a part of our bowl, because it did take a tremendous amount of help. Our sponsors, thank you. Our middle schools, thank you. And keep an eye on these teams that participated in the bowl this year, because I really think what you're going to find as the season goes on and district play develops and the playoffs and things, I think you're going to see all 4 of our bowl participants do very well at the end of the year.
And I'm sure it was kind of fun watching the future stars of Madison Central. So.
Absolutely, they're future Indians, and
right.
we want them to go to battle right now, because hopefully they'll be battling each other for the conference championship. But they all got to keep in mind that it won't be long. They'll be Indians.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, Coach, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Dunbar. We'll be right back after this message.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, Jerry Goebel and State Farm Insurance, Richmond, Express Roofing, we've got you covered, expressroofing.net. Cumberland Valley National Bank in Richmond and Berea, Luxury Pet Services in Richmond, Time Warner Cable, Equipment Sales and Rentals, Madison County Schools, Tatum Enterprises, and Real Life Community Church, myrealchurch.org. We want to be sure and thank our fine sponsors, Berea Online, First Gear, WKYT.com, and the Colonel Sports Card Shop.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCHS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Hey everyone, my name's Alex, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
It's the Mark Center Show from the Jack Burford Chevrolet Studios in Richmond, Kentucky. Now with your host, Samantha Burford.
Welcome back to the Coach Center Show. I'm Samantha Burford, and of course we're here at the lovely Jack Burford Chevrolet Studios. I sometimes forget to say that, but we want to give them a shout out for letting us kind of take over their whole customer service area. They're one of our official sponsors for Madison County School Sports Television, and they love football. I love football. We all love football. So, and 'tis the season. So we are ready. Are you ready for this Friday? That's the big question, right? Everybody wants to know.
That's right. Well, we're in the process of getting ready, though. So thankfully, I always say we need every minute of preparation that we can get, and thankfully we have at least one more day to prepare. So, we've got to get the bulk of the game plan in, and had a really good practice day. So far, very pleased with our practices this week, and very hopeful that carries over to the game on Friday night. So proud of our guys for the way they've come back to work and ready to get back and get better. And you face a tough Dunbar team Friday night.
Right. Are you doing anything different getting ready for the game this Friday night compared to, what you did in preparation for the bowl game last week?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we did have a little bit of extra time, so we were able to sneak an extra day in there.
Which means you're missing one day this week, then.
So it is
one
kind
day
of different. But as well, this is the typical way of preparing for opponents. So kind of getting into now, we feel like we can get into more of a routine and really, you kind of get in the season mode, I guess is the proper way to put that. Dunbar's a wide open offense, so certainly there's some differences in the way that we prepare to face them. But we also know, Coach Raines pretty well, and Coach Raines we think that possibly they may look at some wing T, which is kind of one of his specialties.
It's kind of nice that Coach.
Well, it does help, but it's also hard. That's something that some of my friends and I talk about a lot too. It's when you know each other well, there are some good things about that, but there are also some very difficult things about preparing because you don't want to ever second guess yourself, and a lot of times you just have to let the film speak for itself, and this is what they're doing now.
Right. And they can always do unexpected things.
Absolutely, that can happen anytime, any week. But we I have a great deal of respect for Coach Raines and appreciation for him. Of course, when he was the head coach at Madison Central, I guess from '98 until 2002, and the year that I was doing my student teaching at Madison Central, he hired me on as an assistant coach. And so I have a great deal of respect for Paul and the things that he's doing, and thankful for him for giving me an opportunity when I was a young guy. And certainly all of those things go in. So it's not always easy coaching against someone like that. So those things all play into it. But definitely it's preparing for the next game, and as we always say, the next game on our schedule is always the biggest. So this is a big one for us, no question. And we know they'll be geared up. They returned a ton of guys off of last year's team. Got some guys healthy, a couple that weren't part of the game where we played last year, so they've got some guys healthy. Good, strong, big front line, and athletic, very good athletes all over the place, really, particularly on the offensive side of the football. Their running back and a couple of receivers are really nice ball players, and got a quarterback that can sling it. So big test.
Well, and you had a big win last year, so
Yeah. That's right, and certainly added motivation on their side because of that.
And it's on their home
and
turf.
we have to go up there. And in my time at Central, going back to as an assistant as well, we've had some big games up at Dunbar. There have been some really good Madison Central Dunbar battles, and a couple of the games that have taken place up there have went right down to the wire and been 1- and 2-point games. So the atmosphere will be good, we feel like, and getting back to Friday night football, and it's a real neat thing to play on Saturday night, but Friday Night Lights is what high school football is all about.
That's right. Well, like I said, it is on their home field, so not at our home field, so we want to make sure that everybody follows.
Yeah, we love to take a big crowd up there. It's very important.
Lots of students.
I was going to say, and I failed to do this earlier, and I really shouldn't have, but our student section for the bowl game was fantastic. It was amazing, and I'll be straight honest with you. There are many times as a coach that I don't get an opportunity to notice that. because we are so focused on the field. But before the game, you could see the folks already up there. We could see the kids up there in the student section, and into late in the game all the way after. When we did have an opportunity to kind of breathe a little bit there at the end, they were awesome, and
they were still there.
And still there. That's
Yeah.
right. And so we really hope to have a strong crowd, strong fan base to go with us to Dunbar. But if you can't travel with us to the Dunbar, please make sure we keep that student section going at our home games,
They're
because
loud.
the 12th man is a huge advantage, and they get loud and get crazy for us and get behind us, and
You're right.
that's a big part of it. And I
mean,
appreciate
they wear
that so
Indian
much.
headdresses. They're painted up. They're ready.
Yeah, we appreciate that so much, and the
Yeah.
players appreciate it too.
Yeah, well, that's good. I think it's fun to support, and you got a good senior class this year. That's they're cheerleaders as far as
Bunch
that
of good
front.
guys.
They lean over that front row right there. They're
Yeah.
ready. They're yelling. They're watching.
That's it.
Yeah,
need 'em.
they're ready. So let's hope they follow. Anything else that we need to talk about?
Well, just again, we have a huge game this week against Dunbar, and then on the road, and then we'll come back for Bourbon County coming up in 2 weeks. You get to come back home, and that's kind of how the schedule sets up this year, a nice home and away balance. And that we're going to keep working and keep getting better. Try to keep getting a little bit better each and every day, and see where this thing leads.
Yeah, and I've had a little bug in my ear that our state championship marching band is going to perform their first time of the season at your next home game.
I believe that is coming up. I know they've been working very hard in preparation. They put in so much time, and it's fantastic watching them work. So that'll be a special thing to bring out folks too.
It will. We may get a taste of. No, they probably won't give us a taste of what they're working on for competition. Just to.
I don't know. They may give you a taste. That you may get a little preview of.
Keep drawing us in.
May get another preview of the next state championship.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, Coach. Congratulations on the big Coach Roy Kidd Bowl win. That's a lot to say, but it's a big win nonetheless, right?
Absolutely.
And good
They're
luck.
all win. All big.
That's right. It's a W, and good luck this Friday night. We're going to have another W.
Thank you.
So we'll see you, I guess, as far as our Coach Center show in 2 weeks, because we typically do those after each home game. So stay tuned for more. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Coach. Thanks for watching.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, Jerry Goble and State Farm Insurance, Richmond, Express Roofing, we've got you covered, expressroofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank in Richmond and Berea, Luxury Pet Services in Richmond, Time Warner Cable, Equipment Sales and Rentals, Madison County Schools, Tatum Enterprises, and Real Life Community Church, myrealchurch.org.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCHS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Hey everyone, my name's Alex, and I want you to watch MadisonCountySchoolSports.com.
The following is in smokeless tobacco: cadmium, formaldehyde, lead, nicotine, nitrosamines, polonium-210, hydrazine, benzopyrene, and uranium-235. Don't be a dip. Don't dip.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, the definition of binge drinking is having 5 drinks over the course of 2 hours. When done excessively, this may eventually lead to memory loss, unwanted pregnancy, and sexually transmitted diseases, cancer, excessive vomiting, alcohol poisoning, possibly death.
Nathan, can you hear me?
If you don't want to swallow any of this, chances are the next tube you put in your mouth won't be a good time. For more information on binge drinking, please visit the Centers for Disease Control website at www.cdc.gov.